welcome to the Celtic Cast On podcast. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada, and today I'm podcasting from a treehouse. I thought I'd take advantage of the good weather while I could, and I kind of have a new setup. I got a new clamping holder so I don't have to pile so many things up to prop my phone on, and I invested in a little lapel mic, so I'm hoping that the sound quality will be a bit better. I really want to get a new camera, but it's not in the budget right now, so we're kind of having to make do with what we have. I'm hoping I'm not going to be jiggling about too much. We are in a tree house, 10 feet up, so it's bound to jiggle a little bit, but I'm hoping it's not wobbling the entire time. So we'll just go with it and see what happens. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Celtic Cast On, and of course here on YouTube as Celtic Cast On as well. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 20, and I have lots to share with you and not very much time to share it, so let's get stuck right in. So first I will start with my knitting FOs. So my FO this week is my Julianna's Fibre socks that I finally finished. These are Julianna's Fibre in Silver Lining is the colorway name. Now Julianna no longer dyes anymore, unfortunately. So you can probably try and snag some of her yarn on a Ravelry D-stash. I love the base that she uses. It's a nice, thick, plump base, and her dyeing is really great as well. I just loved knitting these. They were really funky to knit and kind of 80s inspired, and I was always looking to see what the next color was going to be along the way, so it was kind of a cool thing. I'm kind of watching because we got these new little foam ball guns, and they pop foam balls out. And I don't know if I'm hearing a squirrel that's running around in the trees or if it's my husband underneath me waiting to ambush me. You'd think it would be my kids, but no, it is my husband. He's supposed to be taking the dog for a walk, so if I see Izzy first, I'll know that it's him. Anyway, these are my 64 stitch socks, heel flap and gusset as usual. Loved knitting them. And that's another pair onto the blockers and off of the needles for my box of socks knit along. I think I only have 4 more bags to go, so it's... And we're creaking. That's great. What does that mean? I hope I don't fall. Okay. So 3 more bags left before I complete my box of socks for the year. That doesn't include the ones that I have on the needles now, actually, so technically 5, but they should go quickly. So that's my first FO. My first FO. So let's get into, I'll show you my other pair of socks that I started, because of course once I finished these, I grabbed another bag and started another pair of socks. In my Gorgeous Birdie bag by Eldon Woodcraft. Now I took these, we just got back from a trip to Prince Edward Island, and I picked the bag before we left and had it all set up so that I could just knit on them as soon as I finished my socks that I just showed you. So this is my other skein of Stray Cat Yarns sock yarn. This is her Dandelion and Denim colorway. I got this quite a while ago, and I got the coordinating heels, toes, and cuffs with it, and I chose the yellow because I love yellow. So that's what I've started, and I'll give you a little peek on what I have done so far. Ooh, got some yarn barf. So this is what I've got so far. I'm actually at a really weird point. I'm just trying to start the heel gusset. So this is what I've got so far. I love how it's working up, and I love knitting these stripes because you just want to knit one more stripe, and before you know it, your entire sock is done. So I'm just about to insert the heel flap here, which is also going to be the yellow, and then I'll be able to just hit it for home, do the toe, and I'll be done the first sock. So those are coming along nicely. I really love this yarn base. It was a little, I think I had knit another pair of Stray Cat sock yarn socks not too long ago, and I think I preferred the newer base to this one. I found this one a little splitty when I was knitting, and that may be just the way my needles go with the yarn, but I didn't find that with the other ball. So I think maybe she switched bases since this one. So that's my work in progress. But I also have another finished object to show you, and it's going to lead into a little yarn review. So let me show you. First, I'll show you a picture of the package that I received. This is a company called Yarn Vibes. It's a brand new company out of Ireland. They produce yarn or wool that is 100% Irish, so right from the sheep being bred in Ireland, to being spun in Ireland, to being dyed in Ireland, and right through to the end before they sell it. Everything is made in Ireland. So I was pretty excited when they contacted me and asked me if I'd like to try out their yarn. Yes, please. So this package that I was sent is the Hawthorn package. Now they offer several different types of their yarn. They have some variegated yarns available in a sport and a worsted weight. They have some solid yarns available in a sport and worsted weight. And then they have these packs, and this is the Hawthorn yarn. And they are little packs of about 400 and almost 50 yards total. And you get 4 different colors, and you can use it for color work, for striping, whatever you choose. So of course, when I saw this pack, I adored the colors, and I knew right away it had to be something color work. So when it arrived, I wound them all up. I'll show you what I have left from my project. So you can see I've mostly used the blue, and then I have these 3, cream, green, and gray. So this colorway package is called Hedgerow, and each colorway has a different name, but this one's called Hedgerow. And this is the sport weight. If I had had worsted weight and a sweater quantity's worth, I would have totally made a Fair Isle sweater. But I have sport weight and this 400 and almost 50 yard pack, so I decided that I would go with the hat. So here's what I knit. This is the Northport hat by Amy Miller. And again, it's knit in the sport weight. I did the medium size. Probably could have went up to the large size, but I don't know that I would have had enough of the blue to finish it. So I played it safe with the medium. So it is a little more snug on my head than usual, but it's fine. It's not a very thick hat because it's the sport weight, so it needs to be kind of snug. And it's that great Irish yarn that's going to keep my head nice and warm. With this yarn, I am going to let you know that it is similar to what I would say Shetland would be. There's a guard hair that you can feel. There's a kind of a fuzz to it. I don't know if you can tell that in the video or not. There's definitely a guard hair surrounding it. Great for color work, great for striping different colors, great for steeks. There is like a squirrel somewhere. Oh, he's on the banister. Oh no, it's a woodpecker. Oh, I wish I could show you guys. There's a woodpecker right on the banister that leads from the stairs all the way down. He's looking for bugs to eat. Well, that's what the noise was then underneath me. Okay. Hello, Mr. Woodpecker. Please keep it down. Yes, so 100% Irish yarn, similar to Shetland. Comes in sport weight or worsted weight, and again, it comes in solids or variegated, and all of the yarn names and colorway names are all reminiscent of Irish countryside. The colors are really great. I love it. I don't know what else to say. Have I missed anything? Oh yes, Yarn Vibes, you can check them out. I'm going to put a link down below. Please click on the link if you want to check them out and check out their different colorways, etc. They also do yarn collabs with different Irish designers, and this is how I knew that the company was legit, because when they first contacted me, I'd never heard of them, and so I was kind of wary of if they were actually real or not. But when I went to their website and checked everything out, I did notice they're doing collabs with Irish designers, and Carol Feller was among them. So I knew right then it was legit and that I could go ahead and continue my conversations with them. So they definitely are legit. They're doing great the designers make a pattern and they put the yarn together and they have a kit for you to make. So definitely check them out. Again, link below, and that's Yarn Vibes. So not only did they send me this gorgeous yarn, but they sent me this gorgeous bag too, which is actually perfect. Oh, I'll get some threads, stray threads. A uniquely Irish yarn made from fleece to sheep, reared in Ireland. So I thought that was a really cute bag, and it fits a binder perfectly. Not to mention projects, but I've got a binder in it right now. So thank you so much, Yarn Vibes. I adore the yarn. I can't wait to possibly break my yarn ban and get sweater quantities worth. And thanks for the sweet bag as well. So check them out, link below, and that's another finished object. So I think that's all the knitting that I have for this week. I do have another review, and it's actually a knitting book. Speaking of Carol Feller, this is her newest collaboration called Echoes of Heather and Stone by Stolen Stitches, who is Carol Feller. This is a compilation of 8 different designs by 8 different designers. And everything in the book is all inspired by the Irish heritage. So something inspired them to knit this design, and you will actually find out in the book what it was that inspired them and how their design came together, which I thought was pretty cool. Let me just throw out a couple of names at you. There's designs by Carol Feller, Woolly Wormhead, Justina Lurkowska, who's Letty's Knits, Isabel Kramer, Lucy Haig, Carrie Westerman, Jennifer Wood, and Amanda Schwab, or Schwabe, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So definitely some talented folks in there. I'll also let you know the different designs. There are 2 shawls, a cowl, a cardi, 3 sweaters, and 1 hat, which I think is a good mix. I think that sweaters are always more popular than anything else. So having more of them than everything, I think is definitely a good mix for compilation. I do love the 2 shawls, one by Lucy Haig and one by Carrie Westerman. But I think, and actually before I even saw the book, I had watched Carol Feller's Instagram live, and she was taking one of the designs, I don't know if it was per day or per week, but she was talking about them in depth and showing you how they were made. So I did fall in love with the sweater before I was even knew that I was going to be doing this review. So the sweater is by Justina Lurkowska, which of course is no surprise because I love her designs anyway. And it's called Shamrock, and it's this great simple cable pattern. I shouldn't say simple cable pattern. It looks like a complex cable pattern, but I guess it's a 1x1 cable that moves around. The cable pattern is featured on the front and on the back. It's got dolman sleeves, and it's got a great turtleneck, and I love a turtleneck, so I'm excited for this one. All of the knits in the book are knit with Carol Feller's Nua yarn, which is by Stolen Stitches, her company. And also in the book, Nadia Seaver, I always want to say Sewer, oh my goodness, Nadia Seaver, who is Cottage Notebook on Instagram, did some great essays throughout that tie it all together. She's also from Ireland, so it's a great little package. I guess it's an all things Irish show today. So yes, the Shamrock sweater, I'm so excited to cast on, and here's what I'm going to use because I'm still using my stash. I'm not buying anything else, although I would love to buy some Nua yarn. I have some Rowan felted tweed in my stash, and it's actually knit into a sweater, but I'm going to pick it apart and I'm going to reknit it because I don't wear it anymore. So it's actually Rowan Felted Tweed DK, and this is, now he's in that tree over there, pecking away. I'm sure you can hear him. So this is my Kate Davies Manu cardigan. I knit this several years ago. I should button up the front so maybe you can actually see it. So I did it with 3/4 length sleeves and 3/4 length sleeves, and I don't really mix because if I'm wearing a sweater, I'm cold. And if I'm cold and I have 3/4 length sleeves on like this, I have goosebumps, as you can see. So I would rather have a sweater or cardigan with long sleeves, and I didn't want to re-knit this one again. The pockets in the front are supposed to look drapey like that, but I've had so many non-knitters say, comment on my pockets and how they don't look like they belong there. What do they know? Anyway, so I decided that I would rather pull this apart and re-knit it into something that I would really love to wear. So I'm going to pull this apart, and just to make sure that I have enough, I have another Carol Feller design actually that I test knit for her a few years ago for one of her books. This is called the Vesuvius cowl, and it's a drop stitch cowl. It's a really quick knit, but I need this extra yarn and I don't wear it that often. So I'm going to pull this apart and make it into a beautiful shamrock sweater. So I'm excited to get that all pulled apart and started because I know I have enough to knit it. So that's going to be on the needles. I don't know if it's going to be on the needles next or if I'm going to cast on something else, but I need to get it pulled apart first and then I will reassess the situation. So do check out Carol Feller's new book, that's Echoes of Heather and Stone. And thank you so much to Nadia and Carol for letting me give a little review on the book. I'm always happy to give shout outs to designers that I love, and Carol Feller is definitely one of them, as you've heard me speak about before. Let's move on to some sewing. I hope the wind isn't picking this up. Sewing wise, I am still sewing away on my 100 blocks. I'll show you a couple of samples of what I have. They're in a plastic bag, so they're kind of a little crumpled for now. They'll need a re-iron before I start joining them. I think I have over 60 blocks right now. I think I have 15 left to sew together before I have them all finished. But again, the sew along goes until October, so I think I'm in good shape. I just need to find some more time to get those last blocks finished. I did purchase a couple of different fat quarters to get me through. I think I'm going to do it is set up the quilt as strips of color. And I noticed that in some of my strips I was missing quite a few blocks. So I was missing browns, so I got some browns that I thought would go well together, and some greens that I thought might go together as well, and a couple of purples. So hopefully these fat quarters will get me through the last couple of squares that I have, and then I can start joining them together. I also this summer went down another sewing rabbit hole, and that is English paper piecing. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I noticed quite a bit of it and got down the English paper piecing rabbit hole on Instagram, so I of course started a few. I found this cool box. It's actually a tackle box from Canadian Tire, and it fits perfectly my hexagons into it. I had trouble finding a box that was tall enough for the hexagons. They were always wide enough, but then my hexagons would have got smushed if I would have put the top down. So this one works well. You can see the hexagons fit into each of these holes, and I've actually started to arrange them by color so that I don't have a clump of all one color in the same spot when I start putting them together. So if you haven't heard of English paper piecing before, this is what you do. Normally you can get hexagons like this, that you can reuse. Now these were much bigger than the hexagons that I actually wanted to make. So I found a free download on Wild Olive, and she has you print out a full sheet of hexagons, and then you can cut them up on cardstock, and they are great little templates that we can reuse. I love that it has a little smiley face on it. It can be smiley happy or it can be sad. But I just put cardstock right through the printer, and I have a full sheet of them ready to cut up, and then I cut them into strips and place them in here, and when I need them, I'll just cut them up. So basically, you're going to take a template and you're going to take your piece of scrap fabric, and you're going to leave about 1/4 of an inch around the edges of this whole template. So you're going to want a little Olaf cutter to go around. You cut it, and then you take a glue stick like this. This is a sew line glue stick. Kind of looks like a pen, but it's glue. And you're just going to glue all the way around that edge and fold your fabric over the edges. And it creates something like this on the back, and there's your hexagon on the front. So when I'm ready to, and I want to sew them together, you take 2 of them face to face, and you're going to pick up very minimal couple of threads all the way along the edge, and then when you open them out, it will be attached, and then you can just keep adding and adding. And my idea is I really want to do a scrappy quilt with these with no rhyme or reason. So just, I want all colors everywhere. Sorry, I keep looking up. I can hear something up there. Another little birdie up there, picking at a pine cone. All kinds of birdies up here. So that's my, my other sewing rabbit hole that I'm in. I haven't done any of these for quite a while. I want to get my quilt finished before I start into this. So what else do I have to talk to you about? Let me consult my notes. All right, I do have one very adorable present I want to share with you. His name is Malcolm, and he is my new sheepy bag. This is by Emma of the lovely Eldenwood Craft. She gifted me this beautiful bag. Now, if you have seen these bags before, you know there is a long list, waiting list for these guys. So I'm so happy that I actually was gifted one, and I can't thank her enough. It is a gorgeous bag. I've got my sweater in here right now, the Manu sweater that I just showed you. But let me just show you inside. I've got 2 big pockets, 1 and 2. And there's even a little ring so you can attach your keys or what have you. This one's a drawstring. She does do a zippered bag as well. And as all Emma's bags are, they are impeccably made. But Malcolm came to the beach with me when we went to PEI. He likes the beach. He had a fun time, and he actually even got his picture taken at the beach. So I'm very excited. I actually had all of my whips in this when I went to PEI. I just threw every bag that I was working on in here, and then I had them all in one tote, which was kind of neat. But he would definitely do well with a blanket whip, with a sweater and more whip. You could put a sweater and a sock project in here. Tons of room, tons of room. So yeah, I kind of wanted Malcolm to be a backpack when I was in PEI, because I could have just thrown him on my back and away I went. But he's neat as a drawstring too, and he's going to fit in just fine here in Canada. He's all ready for the cooler weather with all of his curls, so I don't think he'll have any trouble being cold. So thank you, Emma, for my Malcolm, and I can't wait to use him some more. Speaking of bags, I have more news for you regarding Maker's Merch, which is the company that I have with Mars of Hey Brownberry. We have 2 new products to show you, and one of them is a bag. This is the Maker's Merch Sling Tote. Now I took this to PEI as well, and I had a full sweater project in here. So this is one of those totes that hangs on your arm so you can knit while you walk. It's incredibly light. It's made of a cotton twill fabric. If you can see, I hope you can see because I can't see what I'm looking at. It has a very cool linen quality to it. There's lots of slubs through it. So the front and the outside is a dark gray. The inside is the exact same fabric, but in a lighter gray. This is our new little Maker's Merch tag that's on the bottom. And this is not a sock bag by any means. This is a full-on sweater, shawl, 3-color shawl, you name it. This is a big bag. I did a little video on Instagram a while ago that I had 3 balls of yarn stacked 1, 2, 3 of worsted weight yarn. I had my pattern and my sweater project with another ball on top. There was still tons of room. I had 5 skeins of sock yarn laid sideways in here that reached up to here. There's still room for a pattern and a project on top. I had 2 skeins of Briggs & Little with room for, of worsted Briggs & Little or Aran weight Briggs & Little with room for 1 or 2 more. It's definitely a good size bag and definitely not a little tiny sock bag that we're used to seeing. So we have this available for pre-order. They're going to ship at the end of September. So you can pre-order them now. They are going quite quickly. I think we only have half of our limited edition left. So if you do want to get on it quickly. The other new product that you can purchase as well is the Maker Pin. This is our original pin, the Nitrovert. Then we had the limited edition Maker Member pin, and now we have the Maker ribbon. So we have the salmon color, and we also have the teal color. 2 colors for you to choose from, as well as the bag, and we also have a coupon code for you. So if you want to purchase a bag and any of our pins that are in our shop right now, you can get 10% off with the code TOTE and PIN. If you are in Canada, you can also use the code OCanada to reduce the shipping cost for you, because with Etsy, you have to put in one country that you are shipping from. Where we are 2 people living in 2 different countries, we can actually ship from both countries. So we had to create a coupon code for those people in Canada so they wouldn't get reamed on shipping that wasn't the actual cost of what your shipping would be. So Tote and Pin for 10% off a pin and the bag. OCanada code if you are in Canada. And if you are local to me, you can also use the code NB free ship, and you will get free shipping, and you can arrange pickup with me as well. So 3 coupon codes that you can use, and I hope you enjoy our new products. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about this week is book club. I've read quite a few books this summer. Should I do 2 or should I do 3? We'll see. Let's start off. I have some books that haven't been released yet on NetGalley, and I wanted to talk to you about a couple because they are coming up soon, and they were my favorite reads this summer. The first book is My Real Name is Hannah. It is a book by Tara Lynn Massey, and it is being published on the 28th of September. Now, I know that I've talked before, I like kind of how people live type of books. So historical fiction has been a favorite of mine this summer. This book I read in 2 days because I couldn't put it down. When I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about what the characters were doing and how they were going to survive, etc. It was just a really great page turner. So this one is set in World War II in Ukraine. Hannah is a young Jewish girl, and she's living just the normal life. She's almost 14 years old. She's coming to and from school, and she's also painting pisanka eggs with an elderly neighbor of hers. So she helps her during that time when they start to paint them. Now, things start to change for Hannah when Hitler invades. Things like they are started to give less rations in their food cards. They start to experience bullying from other kids in school and how their neighbors are treating them. So Hitler decides he wants to make the land completely free of Jews, and that is when Hannah's life is just turned upside down. They have to hide in the walls of their house. They hide in the walls of their house to evade capture. They have to leave their house and go into the forest to live to evade capture. And once they were almost caught in the woods, they had to actually live in underground caves. It's a heartbreaking story because it's actually based on a true story. And there are many people like this that lived like this during Hitler's invasion, and a lot of them didn't survive. But this one is based on a true story of people that did survive. It was a page turner. Living in a world with such hatred and fear, but knowing that hope and kindness of other people prevail. There was a quote by the author that I really loved, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "I dream of a day when we will no longer need Holocaust stories to remind us to be kind to each other and to be watchful for those who aren't." So definitely check that one out. My real name is Hannah, and it is definitely worth a read. The other book that I have, and this was my favorite book that I read this summer, was Hidden Among the Stars, and it's by Melanie Dobson. Now, Melanie Dobson is actually an award-winning author, of which I have never read any of her other books before, but I'm going to definitely check her out now after reading this one. And a time slip novel is where it kind of goes back and forth between two different people or two different settings. So one setting is 1930s, and Hitler is invading Austria. And all the Jewish people are being stripped of all their possessions. Everything that they own is being taken away. So the Jewish people decide that they are going to hide their possessions, and when all of this is over, they're going to come back and find them. So they're digging holes in the ground, in the forest, they're burying them in certain places, under trees, under floorboards, in their walls, anywhere that they can to protect their family heirlooms mostly. So the occupation happens, and people start to question loyalties. Friends are kind of wondering if they can really trust these Jewish people, and people are turning on others. So Annika lives with her father, who is a caretaker of a castle in Austria. And Annika is head over heels in love for the son of the owner, and his name is Max. And Max decides that he is going to help all these Jewish people hide their possessions, and he asks Annika for help to do this. Now, in the flip side of this time slip, in present day, the girl's name is Callie, and she is the owner of a small bookstore in a small town in the US, and she loves books, and she quotes children's books throughout it, which I love because I knew all of them. And she is actually a story girl. So every Saturday, kids come to the store to hear Story Girl read books to them. So she wears a cape, she has stripy socks on, the whole bit. So she receives this book, and it's an original copy of Bambi. Now, Bambi during the occupation was actually banned because it was written by a Jewish author. So when she realizes that this isn't just an ordinary original copy of Bambi, she realizes that there's actually writing written in the book to make it look like there are actual words in the story. So there's a name on the book, and then there are these words. And so she makes it her mission to find out who this person was and what these actual words in the book were. So the story tells of how these two sides come together, and I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to spoil it for you. This one was really great. I felt emotionally connected to all the characters. I felt like I was standing watching the whole thing happen, and I couldn't wait for each page to turn. This one's published in September 4th, so actually it is published now. So you can check it out. It's Hidden Among the Stars, and that's again by Melanie Dobson. And these are both NetGalley reviews for me, and again, NetGalley offers me a free copy of the book for me to give my honest opinion. So if I don't like it, I will definitely tell you, but these are my two favorites from the summer that I wanted to share with you. I do have another book that I just finished yesterday, but I don't have the publish date and everything with me, so I will save it for the next episode. But I think that's all that I have for you. I'm kind of hoping that this treehouse recording works out well, because it's been nice to be up here out in the sun. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and you can check me out again on Ravelry and Instagram as Celtic Cast On. Thanks so much for joining me today, and from me, the squirrels, and the woodpecker, I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm going to give you guys a little tour of the treehouse. It's not quite finished yet. We don't have a roof, but this is what we've got so far. Of course, there's a helicopter going over right as I'm podcasting. All right, let me show you. So it's pretty square. It's where I've been hanging out, podcasting for you guys. This is where the roof is going to be, up over. I don't know if it's going to be flat or arched. I'm not exactly sure what Moose has in mind. And so that we Smiler can actually get up here, we had to build steps, because we knew that if we built a rope or something like kind of like a ladder, he could fall to his death. So we built steps, and we built big steps so that he can get up here. So it's like kind of like the stairway to heaven. I'll take you down there, and you can see how high up it is. Get my sandals back on. It's actually beautiful out today. I'm so happy I came out here to record. I actually had the podcast recorded, but I watched it back and I hated it. So I decided I'd wait until we had some nice weather and I'd come out and podcast for you guys. So I'm coming down the stairs now. You can kind of see why I call it the stairway to heaven, because there are a lot of steps. But it works well, and there are handrails so he can come and go as he pleases. And he feels like he's not being left out, which is great. Because when you have an 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old sister, you're left out of a lot of stuff. I shouldn't say that, she's pretty good. She always makes sure that if her friend is over, that he can come and play too. But you know, as she gets older, she's going to want to do things by herself with her friends, which is understandable. But right now, she's just a mother hen, and she just loves him so much. So anyway, that is my little tour of the treehouse. I hope you enjoyed it. Moose definitely enjoyed building it, and T was pretty pumped whenever he finished, and they finally got to play in it. So it's a beautiful view from up here, and it's actually kind of cool because it's very treed in, so it's almost like you are out in the woods and not just up above the grass type of thing. So we can actually see it. Right now, if we're looking at our window, we can see it. So if I'm washing the dishes, I can tell that they're up here because I can see them moving about, which is great. But it's a nice little area. I think Mom is going to enjoy it too. We took our friends up here to show them, and they said, you know what, this would be a nice little spot, have some chairs, some lights up. It would be a nice spot to hang out, and I definitely agree. So maybe I'll be spending more time up here, pending the weather. But anyway, thanks for joining me guys today, and have a good week.